The next thing we're going to need is a title. Now you're going to be working on this more in Portfolio 7, so a simple title will do. The first thing we want to do is go ahead and set our music. So we want our title to be about 5 seconds, right? So we can just type in here 500. So we know that we want our music to pick up right about here. So I can actually just go ahead and drag this and move in. And if I want to put a marker where the music is, I can just select anywhere in the music and hit M on the keyboard as in Mary, and it'll put a marker there. You can zoom back out. Let's go back to 5 seconds. Go ahead and line this marker up. And then we can drag this out. So again, I'm just using plus and minus to zoom. A little bit of a transition here. And then right at 5 seconds, we can start our first shot. So under effects over here, hit the little double arrow, go to audio transitions, just a simple constant power will be fine. All right, so now we need our title. And again, we're just going to use a basic title, but under Essential Graphics, you've got a lot of different options. And feel free to research this if you want to go a little bit fancy, but a simple title will do for now. So I like to use the basic title. If we just search in here, basic title, go ahead and drag this in. Just grab it, drag it in. All right. First thing we're going to want is your name. So I'm going to put my name. So there's my name. Next thing I'm going to need is a job title and an email. So to do that, what we can actually do is we can duplicate this, Command C, Command V on the keyboard, and let's go ahead and paste it one more time. So here's my name. Next thing is we're just going to do email. And then in here, let's go ahead and type this. We're going to do our job title, which is going to be, I'll just put instructor. Digital, actually, let's just use digital artist for now. This will be your discipline, modeling, compositing, animating, etc. All right, so let's go ahead and get these things going. Eyes will turn on similar to Photoshop. We'll go ahead and scale this one down, move its position, make it maybe scale back up. Maybe put this one actually below. Let's put our job title, same thing as before. Go ahead and scale that, move it up or down. Bam. All right, and again, you have a ton of different fonts that you can use. Just try to make sure at the end of the day that it's visible or it's legible is going to be the key there. So anything that, if you want to look cool or whatever, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm a big fan of more kind of standard fonts, not like a book font. Sorry, where's that? Gotham, you have your, familiar with Photoshop, you're basically familiar with this. Let's go ahead and grab all of these. We can go ahead and align them. And we can actually just grab this whole thing, switching over to our arrow tool. So right now we're in our text. Switch to our arrow, which again, is just V, our selection tool. You can just actually select all of these, push them up. And again, just making sure that using our align tools, they're aligned. Last thing we'll need is an effect. And in this case, let's just use a simple div to black. So we'll go down to video transitions, dissolve, div to black, put one in there. Actually, it did come with cross dissolves, which is perfect. So we can just, I highly suggest actually building your title inside of Photoshop because it's going to give you a lot more artistic choices. But for the most part, that's all we're going to look for. And keep in mind, Premiere works very similar like Photoshop, so we can actually add in things underneath it. So say, for instance, you've got a great render that you want to use. You can actually just pull it in straight from Finder or import it. And we're just going to drag and put this underneath. And we can utilize some of the effects that are given to us here. So for instance, we could type in blur, put a blur on it. I'm a big fan of fast blur, but a Gaussian is fine too. Let's go Gaussian blur that. If we put the Gaussian blur, we go in effects control, just make sure we select it. Scroll down, you'll see blurriness. We can blur that out. Make sure we want to repeat edge pixels. Go ahead and blur that thing out. So we got some cool kind of color in there. And then we also have control of opacity. So you have different blend modes, but let's go ahead and unkey the opacity. We don't want to key it. And we'll just go ahead and bring that down just a little bit. So say we just wanted just a little bit of color or something popping in there in the background. You can do that right in here. Boom, it's feeling pretty good. We'll use the same transitions as before. So video transitions, dissolve, div to black, and then the cross dissolve on the way out. and just kind of line those up. And maybe I let my text go a little longer. I'm just using spacebar to play. And there we go. Now, the last little note that I want to talk about with your titles is the very next thing that we want here. When you get into your assembling process, which is going to be your next step. This is the one thing, if you had to pick one thing out of your portfolio to show potential clients, this next thing is going to be what you want to put there. All right. So don't put anyone else's work here. Don't put a breakdown. The very best thing that you have to offer, which all of you have something great to offer, should go here. So if you had one thing that you wanted to show a client at 5 seconds, that's where you're going to want to put that. All right. Thanks and have a great one.